Discussion keeps the world turning.
This is Round Table.
You're tuned in to Roundtable. I'm Steve Hatherley today with Yushan and Fei Fei. Coming up, 3 stories with no obvious connection. Wait a minute. Yes, they do. We picked 3 segments from this week that look like they have nothing in common, but dig a little deeper and something ties them together. The full circle is coming up. Our podcast listeners can find us at Roundtable China on Apple Podcasts, and don't forget that we love hearing from you too, so send your voice notes our way. Roundtablepodcast at QQ.com. Once again, Roundtablepodcast at QQ.com. And now.
3 stories, 1 connection. This is the full circle.
Time once again for the full circle. It's a segment where we take 3 stories from this week's shows and draw a line between them. And Yushan, you're going to be in charge of it this week. So which story have you selected as your first one?
Yay. The first one would be from Monday, where we talked about spring recruitment and the AI talent rush.
Spring recruitment is one of the 2 major hiring seasons each year, typically taking place from February to April. And it comes right after the Chinese New Year when companies finalize their annual hiring plans and reopen recruitment.
Big focus on AI.
Yeah.
Not surprisingly.
Yeah, exactly. At the recruitment fairs this year.
Also, it's also that time of the year again where campuses are buzzing, job fairs are packed, and resumes are flying everywhere. I got my first job. Not with it here, but I got my first job during the spring recruitment.
Did you really?
Yeah, I started working in, I remember very vividly, March the 30th. In 2020, I think. So that's.
I'm guessing that was a great day or a terrible day, since it so vividly stands out in your mind.
That was a very nervous day for me, like officially transforming from a student to an office worker. But here is the point: China is one of China's 2 major hiring seasons, running from around February to April. So for many graduating students, like me, 5-6 years ago, is the last major chance to secure a job before stepping into the workforce.
All right, so that was your first, or that is your first selection. What's your next one?
Yep. Then we talked about that on Tuesday, as a matter of fact, where we mentioned designing cities from a child's perspective.
Actually, starting from 2021, I think that a number of cities across China have been piloting, building what they call child-friendly society.
Yeah, and we discussed getting feedback and input from younger people in the community so that the decision makers can have a better idea of how to serve the needs of the youth of the community.
Basically reimagine what the world looks like at 1 meter tall, I think.
Right.
That's really cute because very importantly, it means long-term thinking, I think, because child-friendly spaces aren't just add-ons to what's already there. They're meant to be built into the cities that we live in and the society that's good for all of us, from neighboring upgrades to national policy. So it's a simple shift in perspective, but it changes everything.
And your last selection.
That's from Wednesday, Spring Greens and the Taste of the Season.
And also across multiple channels, including chain supermarkets and instant retail markets, the variety of spring vegetables hitting the market this year has reached a peak in recent years.
Spring green season, job fair season time, spring green season time, allergy season time.
What a busy season.
It is a busy time of year, right? Yeah, a lot of people are really loving these. It's almost gone, I don't know if it's gone viral, but a lot of people are talking about these spring greens. Apparently it happens almost every single year, and people incorporate them into their diets.
Yeah, it's a window of time when it is available, and when it comes, you just know. And it's not just about food, it's also about timing, the springtime, about knowing when something is at its best and not really missing it. So that's the 3 stories that I chose for the full circle.
Spring recruitment with a focus on AI, designing cities from a child's perspective, and the spring green rush, if you will, of these healthy vegetables. All right, let's find the connection with the full circle.
You know, one common thread connecting three stories is really a question being asked here. What does it mean to be ready, and who gets to define it? So at a crowded job fair, for example, readiness feels like a moving target. You know, less than a decade ago, the Internet of Things, the computer sciences, that were seen as a golden ticket to a stable, a high-paying tech career that one can ever dream of. But nowadays, with AI rising really fast, the conversation has shifted to a new concern: how programmers and computer tech gurus, how they can avoid being replaced. So this year, AI is no longer a bonus skill, like you mentioned, Steve. It's the baseline for the new fashion for these fresh graduates.
It's not a luxury bonus item on a resume anymore.
Yeah.
It has to be there.
Here, readiness for them becomes something you chase. You constantly shape your skills and direction in order to keep up with the future that really refuses to stand still. Now, if we step into a city built for a child's perspective, here, readiness takes on a completely different shape. It's not the child who has to adapt quickly, but instead it's the system itself being redesigned, where sidewalks, services, and safety measures are already all rethought to meet children where they are. So readiness here in this case is something built into the environment in order to better it. So yeah, one way and then the other way around. And then there is the quieter kind of readiness where you just really have nothing to do with systems or skills, because spring vegetables don't ever prepare or optimize themselves, right? They don't even necessarily respond to demand. They simply arrive at their peak for a brief season without, telling you that they're going to do
whenever they're ready.
Yeah, exactly. And people, we have to adjust ourselves around that time in order to wait for it, look for it, and seize it when it comes. And if you miss it, you'll kind of wait for another year.
That's true. That's true for fruits and vegetables too, right? If you miss the season, too bad. You got to wait a long time. Same for the cherry blossoms and the peach blossoms and all the other flowers at this time of year too.
So yeah, in the end, these three stories don't just show different moments in life. They show three different relationships we have with the idea of readiness. One where you adapt to the world, one where the world actually adapts to you, and then the other one where neither side is in control and timing really leads everything. And maybe understanding that difference is what actually prepares us, not just for what's next, but for knowing how to meet it. And here it leads to a little question that I have for you guys. When do you think about your own life in terms of being ready? What does being ready for you guys?
I don't think, at one time through my life, I do think I need to be ready for example, for a task I need to do in my job. I need to be prepared. I need to be 100% ready for that task. And then I realized it's never going to happen. 99% of the time, I'm like 50% prepared. That's the best case scenario. But most of the time, in some cases, I got like 10 minutes to prepare for a job. And then, you need to go error on something. So then I realized when it comes to ready, it's not about how well you prepared for a single task. It's more about a mindset of knowing the world is changing and you need to adapt to the changing world yourself.
You use the word prepared and ready multiple times there, and you kind of used them interchangeably. But for me, ready and prepared are not the same words. Prepared means you've done the work. You've put in the work and now the work is finished. Ready is a feeling. Ready is a decision. So what does that actually mean? To me, ready is more on the emotional side of things, and prepared is the A's and B's and C's, or the 1s and 2s and 3s that you need to check off lists so that you can feel emotionally settled to do the thing. The problem that I have with that, and ready is such a funny word, right? We hear it all the time. Singers say it. At a concert. Are you ready? What does it? Yes, that's why I'm here.
I prepared my singing before this.
Right? It's funny, we hear it all the time, but we don't really think about what it actually means. But you'll hear this cliche too. You're never ready. New parents will say this, right? You're never actually ready, no matter how much you prepare. You will never be ready for the time when your kids show up.
And even when you are very well prepared, you may still not feel ready. I learned that from a very famous violinist of one of her interview clips that I just watched yesterday. She said before each show, which starts at 7:30 or 8 p.m. in the concert hall, before she goes on stage, she does her ritual of things like eating healthily, workout throughout the day, and practicing, rehearsing, and everything. Sometimes that really goes so well. It's like the golden trial of each step, and then eventually the time, your performance, the music, everything just mix in one so perfectly. And then some other time it's the same process, but you just don't get there. You just don't feel like it's the best I've ever done, and I'm happy with the outcome. So yeah, you prepare, but you may never really feel ready. And it's really a natural process of life that she tells everybody to just get by and get used to.
So do you think you should, what advice would you give for people who feel like they have prepared, but they're just not ready for, I don't know, some kind of big decision in life or something? Would you say ignore that feeling of I'm not ready and just go for it, just do it, take that leap? Or would you give different advice?
Well, if it comes to a personal advice, I'll say enjoy each moment, because feeling ready has some sort of an expectation to it. I want to achieve certain performance level, and I want to display it in a certain way. That's what I'll call I'm ready. That's the expectation that I imagine and then put it up there. But each and every minute and each and every practice you put in, the actions you put in that you prepare matters too. Sometimes it matters even more than the outcome of being ready. So that will be my advice and answer to your question. And here are my final thoughts. We grow up being told to be ready. Ready for exams, ready for interviews, ready for the next stage of life. But ready for what exactly? And according to whose definition? Is it a checklist at the job fair? The right major, right skills, increasingly the right familiarity with AI and everything. Am I good enough? Check, check, check. It's measurable, comparable, and constantly shifting. You prepare, but the target keeps moving. Or is it a wholesome society where all age groups are taken good care of? It's no longer about the individual catching up to the system, but the system slowing down a little bit, adjusting, making space for you. So readiness becomes something designed, not demanded. And then we see the natural ways of readiness, such as the rotation of seasons itself. Because no amount of preparation can ever rush a bamboo shoot or extend the life of a tender leaf that's going to end up on your dinner table, perhaps. Here, readiness isn't really engineered or evaluated. It's really simple. It simply arrives, briefly on its own terms. So, after all that, maybe readiness isn't a single state we achieve and hold on to. Maybe it's something more fluid. Something that shifts depending on where you stand. Sometimes it takes you to stretch, to learn, to catch up. And sometimes it asks the world to meet you where you are. And sometimes it asks nothing at all. Just that you notice the right moment when it comes and seize it. And maybe that's enough to be ready.
I like that. Yeah, I think it's self-imposed a lot of the time, right? But I think, and I don't know why do we do this? Why do people say, and I hear it, maybe I've used it too, but I hear people say it a lot, I'm not ready yet. And I'm not talking about like, oh, the movie starts in 25 minutes, but you're not wearing pants. Well, obviously you are not ready. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about something more existential or, you know. But why do we do that? Is it a lack of confidence that we feel in ourselves? Do you think?
Definitely.
Yeah.
I think it's a sort of an unconscious excuse or reason you give out in preparedness. of the possibility that you could fail in this thing, in this stage of life, in this task at your work, or the things you wish you can accomplish. So that's why when you ask the question, just don't think about whether you are going to be ready or not. Just do it. And I think that would be my philosophy from after a certain time of age, is that I grinded myself through countless hours before, thinking that I need to prepare, I need to be ready. When am I going to be ready?
You want to host the show on Monday?
I'm not ready. Just do it. You're never going to be ready. Don't overthink it. That's my,
Yeah, I take it on, if not an opposite direction, actually. I used to be like that. And then I realized that you can never really meet all of your expectations and really perform the best. Because when you look back, there's always something that you wish you have done better.
What's the connection to being ready there, though?
I stop grinding myself to the goal of staying ready and being ready. If I feel that it's enough, then that's enough. If I want to lay down, if I meet difficulties and I trip and I lay down, I just lay there and let it flow a little bit. Sometimes inspiration comes at those moments instead of really memorizing everything that I think I need to be ready for.
And also there is a trap. How many times, well, for me at least, I think, I'm ready for this one 100%, and then I screwed up. And then I was like, I wish I could do this before that. Oh, I wish I should have thought of that before this happened. And then for the next time when I'm preparing for something else, I start to questioning myself, well, you think you're 100% ready? What if you're only 50% there? And then just sort of in a rabbit hole of questioning yourself.
That's an endless cycle.
Yeah.
That's where we learn from Hong Lin, who always says there's no such thing as over-prepare.
Those words ring in our ears.
Do you agree?
The silence.
Yeah.
I was just suddenly reminded, talking about failure. I've gone to a lot of auditions in my career, and I got some of them, and some of them I didn't get. I never looked at it truly as failure, but of course I was disappointed, and I always thought, what could I have done differently? And one example, I know exactly what I could have done differently. I was so excited for this TV show audition, and I went out and I bought new pants and a new shirt to go to the audition, the interview. And I felt quite good about the experience. And as I was walking back to the elevator after it was over, the assistant producer was walking just slightly behind me. We were chatting. And she said, suddenly, "Oh, your waist size is 32. And I said, "Huh? How did you know that?" And she said, "Oh, the sticker on the back of your pants." I was like, oh my gosh. And it wasn't just one sticker. They say like 32, 32, 32, 32. I wanted to die. I didn't get that job, but I was kind of thankful because I never wanted to see her again after that moment. Oh, goodness me. I just remembered that. All right, that'll do it for today's Roundtable. Thanks very much for being with us today. For Fei Fei and Yushan, I'm Steve. We hope you enjoyed the show as well. Enjoy your time, and please do come back again.